All right, we should be back in the building. Y'all know what time it is. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. And we're back at it. Back with another YouTube live stream. And welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream. I'm excited to be here. We've got an amazing show for y'all. Of course, we got some breaking news with Fani Willis taking another L. Yeah, we're all surprised, but not really. Of course, we got a lot of other topics we're going to talk about as well. What's going on in Iran. We're going to talk about Tiffany Henyard. I promised you guys, I made you all a promise that if Tiffany Henyard got anywhere near a ballot, I would make you guys aware of it and make sure that she doesn't see a seat in any elected office here in Fulton County. Well, we're going to talk about her trying to weasel her way into Fulton County in a second. It's getting crazy. Along with a lot of other topics. But before we get into it, I've got to say what's up to the people, man. Thank y'all for making this place the amazing place that it is. We got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy is in here doing what she does, and that is be amazing. Y'all show Amy some love. Go subscribe to her channel and also follow her on X for many of the breaking news reports that we cover here on the channel and more. Y'all know where to find her. The link is in the description. All right, thank you to Amy. I love you. I appreciate you for being here. We got Taco Tuesday in here. It is your day. The Honorable Attorney Kel Bell is in the building. Virginia Wiley, Jay Buckmaster is in here as well. Shout out to the member gang. We got Atlanta representing in the building too. Good to see y'all in here too. Now, I will be saying what's up to y'all and good morning as we go throughout the show. I do have a favor to ask you before we get started though, and it's really simple to do. That's that you all like the video. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, and lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, the channel, this live stream you're watching right now with more people. Now, there are already over 300 of you that have liked the video. Thank y'all for the love. If you could, just take a second to do that. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. You can share it to any social media platform you're on. And also, you can share it to text message too. And then last but not least, I will be reading super chats throughout the show. So thank you to everybody who goes the extra mile and supports the show as well. I appreciate y'all. And thank you all for keeping the lights on here on the morning show as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I'm not going to waste any more time. Thank y'all for showing love. Let me know where everybody's from too. I see we got some folks in here from Atlanta. Oh, somebody said, talk about a delay. Yeah. Hey, listen. We're never late. We're always right on time. All right. You know what time it is. Let's go ahead and get into our first topic. So it's going to get interesting because as you guys have seen, Fani Willis is taking another L. I mean, I don't know why she's continuing to go this route. You got to take your loss with grace. And she is choosing the opposite direction because we've heard and we've reported here multiple times that Fani Willis was most likely going to have to pay this $17 million that is being asked for by Steve Sadow and many others who represented the president of the United States and his co-defendants during this BS election interference RICO case that Fani Willis brought at the request of the White House. We'll say allegedly for now, but it's looking like that's going to be proven. We'll get into that here in a second. But we now know that the judge is denying Fani's request not to pay. And we're going to talk about it here in a second and see why the judge said basically what I've been saying this whole time. She should pay. She has to pay. And if her budget takes the hit, that's on her because the law is the law. She feels it's unconstitutional. She's got to take it to the next level, which I'm sure we're going to see an appeal here. Check this out. Judge denies Fani Willis's attempt to withhold payment as co-defendants seek nearly $17 million. A Fulton County judge on Monday rejected the Fulton County District Attorney's Office attempt to withhold payment from President Trump, ruling that the office remains disqualified while allowing Fulton County itself to join the fight over nearly $17 million in legal fees sought by former defendants. The decision comes from the Superior Court Judge, Scott McAfee. We knew he was going to be in charge of this, and he was tired of the BS. So I'm not surprised here at all. He sets up the next phase of litigation in the once sweeping racketeering case, which collapsed after prosecutors dropped charges against Mr. Trump and several of his allies. That was done by Pete Scandalakis because he looked at everything and said, I don't know why this case is even existing. It should have been dropped a long time ago. I'm not doing it. And definitely not while the president's in office. So here we are. 14 former defendants, including Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, are now seeking $16,853,000 $810, and then of course the 28 cents, got to be accurate here, in attorney's fees and costs under a newly enacted Georgia law that allows defendants to recover expenses when a prosecutor is disqualified. Now, the reason Fani Willis was arguing this and saying it was unconstitutional, one, because you have to prove that there was impropriety. What she's saying in her argument is, according to that new law, you have to show impropriety. Fani Willis, maybe it shows the appearance of some sort of impropriety, and that's why she was disqualified. Not necessarily that she did something wrong. That was their argument. Scott McAfee said, Fani, enough is enough. You're done. McAfee's order makes clear that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and her office cannot participate further in the dispute because they were previously removed from the case over conflicts of interest. The fight over attorney's fees stems from the collapse of a sweeping 2023 racketeering indictment brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis against Mr. Trump and more than a dozen allies. Prosecutors had accused the group of participating in a coordinated effort to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results, alleging a wide-ranging conspiracy that included the creation of alternate elections and pressure on state officials. Most notably, Brad Raffensperger getting a phone call from the president of the United States saying, hey man, it seems like we're missing about, I don't know, 16,000, 17,000 votes, 18,000 votes. Where did those votes come from? Why are the votes there? How did these votes suddenly appear overnight? You need to find those votes and figure out what happened. That's the main thing that went down. We also had Rudy Giuliani, who was sued into oblivion, lost his law license because he called into question some of the things that happened during the election here in Fulton County. And obviously he was shown to be proven true because we heard Ann B., the attorney for the Fulton County Board of Elections, said that, hey, you know what? We didn't verify these votes. Sorry, guys. We made improvements since then. Don't worry about it. All the while, Rudy Giuliani is tweeting, told you guys, things were messed up. So these are just two of the people in this case who not only were right in asking questions like this, but they were actually shown to be proven true. Now, of course, we have the FBI raid here in Fulton County. They go into the elections office and they seize these boxes of ballots because they want to find out what happened and what really went down in 2020, and rightfully so. Prosecutors had accused the group of participating in a coordinated effort to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results, alleging a wide-ranging conspiracy that included the creation of an alternate electors and pressure on state officials. But the case unraveled after Georgia Court of Appeals disqualified Willis and her office over a conflict of interest involving her relationship with the special prosecutor she hired to work the case and overpaid him immensely. The ruling determined the situation created an appearance of impropriety, there it is, that undermined the public confidence in the prosecution. With Willis removed and the case ultimately dropped, several former defendants moved to recover their legal expenses under a new Georgia law allowing reimbursement when a prosecutor is disqualified, setting up the ongoing dispute now before the court. All right, disqualified DA's office cannot return to the case. We already knew this, that Fani Willis filed to try and get back into this, and it wasn't going to happen. They said no. In a ruling, Judge McAfee said Fulton County District Attorney's Office failed to show it had a legal right to intervene in the proceedings. The court found the state is already represented by a district attorney pro T appointed after Fani Willis's disqualification, meaning the interests Willis cited, including potential financial impacts on the office's budget, are already represented. And that would be Pete Skandalakis in this case. Because the FCDA's interests are adequately represented by the state, and as the office was wholly disqualified, the motion to intervene is denied, Judge McAfee wrote. The judge also noted that many of the arguments Willis' office's raised would require, hold on a second, I lost my spot. Here we go. Would require defending the very prosecutorial decisions that the Georgia Court of Appeals determined were compromised by a conflict of interest. So she just messed this up beyond what they could fix. The Fulton County was allowed to intervene because while Willis's office was shut out, Scott McAfee granted Fulton County's request to intervene, allowing the county officials to participate in the fight over attorney fees claims. The court argued it has a direct financial stake in the outcome because it provides most of the funding for the district attorney's office. The judge agreed, writing that the financial buck appears likely in the form to eventually stop at the county's desk, meaning taxpayers could ultimately bear the cost of any court-related payments. That's us. We had a feeling we were going to have to pay for this. I'm not surprised. Judge McAfee also said the county could provide important insight into the budget issues and the relationship between the district attorney's office and local government as the case moves forward, which is why we had the special Senate committee who's asking Fani Willis and soon Nathan Wade all these questions. Trump's attorney praises the ruling. Steve Sadow posted on X and said Judge McAfee has properly denied Fani Willis's motion to intervene in the POTUS action for reimbursement of attorney fees because her disqualification for improper conduct bars Fani Willis and her office from further participation in this dismissed lawfare case, Steve Sadow wrote. What happens next? The ruling clears the way for evidentiary hearings on the requested attorney fees, which would become one of the largest reimbursements ever tied to a dismissed criminal prosecution in Georgia, mainly because we've never seen a case, or this law was just introduced to where we would finally be able to see a case where a district attorney was disqualified and had to pay. Before last year, this law didn't even exist. McAfee said the court will hear arguments and review evidence of each of the 14 fee motions in chronological order to determine whether the legal costs claimed are reasonable. The fee battle could test the scope of Georgia's new law, allowing defendants to recover legal costs when prosecutors are disqualified, a statute that has rarely been applied since taking effect in 2025. So let's do a little bit of a rewind and hear exactly why from Fani Willis she doesn't believe that she should have to pay this. I want you guys to hear exactly what she said, and then you be the judge on if Scott McAfee made the right decision. Check this out.
Fulton County DA Fani Willis is asking a judge to throw out Donald Trump and the other election interference defendants' request for an estimated $17 million in legal fees.
That's right.
Channel 2's Richard Elliott is live at the state capitol, where a new Georgia law insists her office is on the hook for that money.
Was written specifically for Fani Willis in the election interference case. If she got disqualified, happened. If the charges against the defendants were dismissed, which also happens, then her office could be on the hook for all of those legal fees. But more than one person says they're not sure that law is legal. In her new filing, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis calls the estimated $17 million legal bill for Donald Trump and the other election interference defendants, quote, a suitably preposterous sum. In her motion to have that bill thrown out, Willis says
this was a suitably preposterous indictment, Fani Willis.
Some of the claims include $1,000 a night hotel rooms and seafood lunches costing hundreds of dollars, often, she claims, paid for by the Georgia Republican Party and various Trump PACs. Quote, the defendants are asking that the district attorney's budget and the taxpayer funds be handed over to the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party for expenses including luxury hotels and seafood lunches.
Richard, there are a number of issues that we raised in our filing.
We spoke with Georgia Prosecuting Attorney's Council Director Pete Scandalakis. After a judge disqualified Fani Willis from the case, Scandalakis had to take it over and eventually dismissed all the charges. He didn't want to comment on Willis's newest filing, but he also filed his own motion saying he didn't feel the law that allowed Trump and the others to get their legal bills paid by Fulton County taxpayers was constitutional, a law passed specifically for Fani Willis and this case.
And then you have the overall problem with, is it constitutional? And that's another issue we raised.
While a judge will have to decide, Willis writes in her motion that her office has no plans to pay the $17 million bill. Quote, the district attorney has no intention of allowing Fulton County taxpayers to pay such an absurd amount for such an absurd reason.
No, we're asking you to pay it, Fani Willis, because you're the one that messed this up. Now, granted, many of y'all, 68% of y'all, I believe, voted for Fani Willis to be back in office. So, hey, can we just get the 68% to pay it? I don't want to pay it, but you know, that's not how it works. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. It's looking like Fani's going to have to pay up, which means I'm going to have to pay up, which means Amy's going to have to pay up. A lot of y'all here in Fulton County are going to have to pay up for this. Makes sense. Let me know what you guys think. Man, oh man. You got to pay up. You got to pay, Fani. I want to say sorry, but that's the risk you take when you take on Goliath. You got a risk of things not going the way you thought they would go. So yeah, that's the case in the situation that we're in. And of course, y'all know me, we're not done with Fani Willis. When we hear some news about Fani Willis, we got to double down. We're going to get to it in a second. Thank you to everyone who's in here. Over 8,000 of y'all. Please like the video on your way in. Likes are free, guys. And I beg for likes, because not only do I know you're going to enjoy your time here, it's going to be a great show. You're going to get a great chance to interact and have some comments and conversations in here, but it takes less than a second to do, and it's so easy to do. I saw a comment I wanted to read. Shout out to the gang here. D's in the building too. Good to see you, D. Tanya's back in here as well. What you mean? She got to pay. Yeah, we got to pay for it. How much does she have to pay back? Well, that's when the next hearing is going to take place, when the judge said we're going to go on chronological order to see exactly who's owed what, when everything was charged, how much they're charged. I don't think it's going to be 17 million, because I agree with Fani in this case. Guys, why are we paying for your steak dinners? You could have went to Burger King. You chose to go to Fogo. That's not my fault. So maybe we can trim off some of the fat there, pun intended. But I think the judge will look at this and say, okay, this is reasonable. That's not reasonable. And maybe it'll be somewhere around 10 million. Who knows? But still, Fani's like, man, I don't want to pay that. What about my budget? I could hardly keep people in here as it is. Now, I don't know. Taxpayers deserve to know how much this frivolous election interference case has cost to date. I agree. And we can get into it. And I can actually get some estimates for y'all. So remind me, and I will make sure to get that for you. Actually, let me make a note real quick, and we'll look that up at some point and get an estimation on how much it cost us, because it cost us a lot. And I mean, not even just the initial case, but think of the fallout that came as a result of that. We're still paying for Fani Willis to show up to these special Senate hearings. We're going to be paying for Nathan Way's representation. As crazy as that sounds, we're going to pay for that. We had to pay for these hearings when Ashley Merchant, the Merchant Law Firm, were trying to get paid. Dexter Bond was up there looking crazy. We had to pay for the issues that she had with Judicial Watch, because they wouldn't go into open records requests, on and on and on and on and on. And people are just sitting back and, you know, they're going straight ticket voting just because somebody is a black female Democrat and they say, hey, you know, that name sounds familiar. Check. That's why what we're doing here is so important. So good Lord. It's it's tough. And I always feel like I have to say this because I give Fani Willis so much grief. She has done a lot of good things here in Fulton County, but keeping it objective, that does not mean she can't be held accountable for the times that not only she cost the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars unnecessarily, but the way she mishandles certain cases. It is what it is. Man, we're going to get into it. Let's talk about, and actually give me 1 second. I need some water, and to make sure we don't have any sneezing issues during this next segment. This is going to be an interesting conversation because Amy brought this to me, and this is something that isn't being talked about. You're going to see probably why here in a second, but it's very important and plays into what happened during this election interference case. Here we go. That sneeze still trying to come out. You're not going to get me, sneeze. You're not going to get me, I swear. I won't let it happen. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So if I say the name Erik Harmon, you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. Many of you will, most of you won't. We're going to get into what happened during this election interference case. And of course, now that there are these 8,000 pages of memos that were leaked from Fani Willis and what happened during the preparing for this election interference case, how the White House was involved, and now looking at the FBI raid into the 2020 election and the FBI and the Fulton County Elections Office here. We're going to talk about this man, Erik Harmon, and the role he had to play in bringing this indictment against the President of the United States and 13 others. So voting systems, where he served as Director of Product and Strategy and Security. All right. So after the 2020 presidential election, Harmon became the subject of conspiracy theories claiming he helped manipulate the voting machines. And we talked with our guy, Garland Favorito, who is in tech. And he said as soon as he heard these systems were coming out, he knew it was a bad idea. And he was right. He being Erik Harmon, denied the claims and filed multiple defamation lawsuits against media outlets and political figures who repeated them. Well, guess what happened? Here's how he's connected to Fani Willis. The case brought by Fani Willis against Donald Trump and others centered on allegation efforts to overturn Georgia's election results. Dominion voting machines and claims about the election fraud are a part of a broader narrative behind that investigation. All right. So here's where it gets interesting. Erik Harmon is not a defendant and is not directly charged or accused in the Georgia case. His name mainly comes up because Dominion machines were central to the election fraud claims that investigators say were used to justify efforts to challenge the results. Erik Harmon with Dominion voting systems. He sued people for spreading election fraud claims about him after 2020. And while those claims are tied to a broader narrative in the Trump Georgia case, he is not directly involved in Fani Willis's prosecution, but he was involved with the case because he had the machines. And that is when all of this allegedly went wild. All right. So check this out. What do they say? We say ex-Dominion voting systems executive Erik Harmon admitted under oath on January 27th of this year in a deposition that he's discussing the voting equipment, adjudication software, and source code with foreign nationals, including Serbians who could remotely troubleshoot in the Denver office. Now, why is this an issue? Well, we were all wondering and trying to figure out why Tulsi Gabbard was involved in this FBI raid into the 2020 election, right? Tulsi Gabbard was there. We said, oh, that's weird. The national intelligence, the director of national intelligence is here. Why is that? Well, it could be because of what we mentioned before. There was a lot going on behind the scenes with maybe there being issues outside of the country, and that's why she could be involved. We talked about Venezuela. We talked about Maduro and how he played into the 2020 election. So much that could be connected here, and the rabbit hole gets crazy. But check this out. This contradicts, and his testimony contradicts years of Dominion denials of foreign involvement in U.S. elections. Charlie Kane, attorney for Erik Harmon, assaulted Brian's attorney, Peter T, several times after losing this motion to suppress questions related to Serbia, China, Venezuela. I've been telling you guys about Maduro, been bringing this up. Now we're starting to see the facts come out. Will justice finally be done for the stolen election in 2020? Let's wait and see. Let's get into this video here from the Lindell TV, where they actually talked to Patrick Bryan and what went on with this situation with Erik Harmon and how it could play into finding out the truth about 2020. Check it out.
We have two things to talk about today. How long do we have?
10 minutes.
How long? Okay, I noticed in watching our review, I know I perorate, so go ahead and just cough if I'm going on too long. In one issue is the Erik Harmon. Erik Harmon filed something last night on the public docket. Wouldn't be surprised if his attorneys had made a mistake, but it's not, who am I to say? They put up on the public document, and we downloaded a set of acknowledgments that is in direct contradiction to everything that's been maintained for 5 years. I have sent it to you. Do you have that available to pull up?
I sent it to my team. Yeah, we've got it right there. I don't know how well we can read it. I haven't even had a chance to read it. Sorry.
Well, it's okay. For 5 years, Dominion's been saying we're an American company. We're an American company based in Denver. No foreign this, no foreign that. Mm-hmm. Now that we finally have painted them into a corner, which they're trying to just, that he's been actually for the last couple of weeks or last week arguing with a judge. You have to write the rule that Byrne can't get to ask about China, Serbia, or Venezuela because that's all been debunked. Nope. And that's clearly not going to happen. The judge is going to do that. They filed this. They were forced to finally answer some questions last night, and they filed this acknowledging, I've had contact. If you read to like the second, I don't know if you want to close in, it actually acknowledges it. I've had contact with foreigners about Dominion soft code, base code, source code, programming. I've had contact overseas. I've had contact with people in the Dominion offices in Denver that I knew to be foreigners about our source code, blah, 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 blah. It's all spelled out there. He's acknowledged what has been denied for 5 years. This is a foreign operation. I can tell you it's all a front. Whatever we have in America is a front. Everything's really was spawned in Venezuela and then potted over in the operations were moved over in Serbia. This whole, and Fidel, I mean, I know this all, well, I don't know if it sounds crazy anymore. Fidel and Hugo and China, they all figured out 20, 25 years ago, they saw the opportunity to take down the West with this weapon. It's amazing.
So guys, we've been talking about this, and I brought this up multiple times about how Venezuela would have been involved. And the first thing I noticed was that Tulsi Gabbard was at this FBI raid. And as soon as I saw that, I had a feeling that there was going to be something that had to do with national security. Venezuela, Maduro's talking. All right, let's just be clear. He's talking. He wants to get up out of there. He's tired of being in MDC, if that's still where he is. And now we're having the situation that we have here. Check this out. So Amy posted this over on X. If you guys don't follow her, make sure you do. Over on X at IAmyLeigh on X. That's at IAMYLEIGH on X. And she says this: did Erik Harmon provide conflicting testimony in the Trump, Georgia case? Motion filed alleging perjury by former Dominion executive in Georgia RICO case. Legal counsel for Patrick Bryan was filed a motion in the Coomer versus Bryan case, alleging that former Dominion executive Erik Harmon provided conflicting testimony under oath. The motion claims that Coomer's January 26 deposition contradicts his 2022 statements to the Fulton County grand jury regarding his technical ability to access or compromise election system. We will have to have Garland back on the show because I would love to hear him talk about this, because this is right in his wheelhouse. If you guys missed the interview that we did with Garland Favorito, he talks about this very thing with the issues even locally with these voting systems. Attorneys argue that irreconcilable differences exist between the sworn statements and are seeking to unseal the deposition to compare it with the grand jury transcript. Additionally, the motion suggests similar inconsistencies in testimony provided by Dominion CEO John Poulos. If verified, these allegations could challenge the integrity of the evidence used in high-profile Georgia indictment. Check this out from Lindell TV.
Deposition testimony of Dr. Coomer and previous testimony provided by Dr. Coomer to the same grand jury that indicted President Donald J. Trump and many others in Fulton County, Georgia. A true and correct copy of the unsealed June 14th, 2022 grand jury proceeding transcript of Dr. Coomer in the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia is attached hereto and marked as Exhibit A, end quote. Here is Exhibit A, the transcript from Coomer's grand jury testimony in the RICO case. And as you can see, he explicitly says he did not have access to the machines. He stated that he, quote, don't have and never have even the technical capability to be able to compromise all the security and processes that are in place that would be needed to effect an election, end quote. That's Dr. Cooper's words then, okay? But Burns' attorneys allege that based on his more recent testimony in the Byrne defamation case deposition that happened in January of this year.
Guys, it gets even crazier. Let's actually get into this article here and talk about what happened and what went down with this Erik Harmon situation, because it's all turning into a mess. Recent court filings in the Coomer versus Bryan contain sworn admissions by Dr. Erik Harmon, the former director of product and safety and security for Dominion's voting systems, that materially altered the public understanding of foreign interactions with U.S. election systems technology. It's about to get scary, guys. I'm really going to have to stay inside after this because we knew this was coming. When Maduro was arrested, Tulsi Gabbard showed up at the election office. We saw this coming from a mile away. Something happened during that election outside of the United States. Now we're going to hear about it. Filed on January 23rd, 2026, Coomer's responses acknowledging that he worked directly with foreign individuals and foreign-based employees on Dominion voting equipment, adjudication software, election system code, and programming. He further admitted that Serbian employees have the ability to connect to Dominion equipment located in the company's Denver headquarters for troubleshooting purposes. Of course, they would never think to use it for anything other than that, right? Right? You guys know where Serbia is, right? These admissions come after years of categorical public statements by Dominion and its executives denying foreign involvement in the company's voting systems. Brian's legal team summarized the relevance of these admissions in a court filing addendum. As Patrick Bryan explained in an interview last week with Emerald Robinson, the significance of the filing is not merely what was admitted, but that it contradicts 5 years of prior denials and, don't forget, lawsuits. For 5 years, Dominion's been saying, we're an American company. No foreign. No foreign this, no foreign that. Now that we're finally have them painted into a corner, they were forced to finally answer the questions last night, and they filed this acknowledging, I've had contact with foreigners about Dominion, software code base, source code programming, which would make it very easy for someone on foreign soil to interfere with these machines, potentially, allegedly interfere with an election. You see how this is all building up? The case is building itself at this point. Bryan characterized the admissions as a turning point. He acknowledged what had been denied for 5 years. It's finally been acknowledged under oath in an illegal response by Erik Harmon. Let's quickly get into the foreign interaction and what actually went on with the foreign involvement in Dominion and these voting machines in the election. In sworn responses, Harmon admitted that he discussed vote adjudication software, election system code, and programming at a code-based level with Dominion employees he understood to be foreign countries, and they were from foreign countries. Bryan emphasized why this matters from a legal and security standpoint. Everybody who touches this kind of code is supposed to be treated like a nuclear weapon. Yeah, they're not supposed to be a bunch of Serbians and Venezuelans inside that code that runs democracy by law. Maduro. While Harmon denies that foreign employees had remote access to voting machines deployed by customer jurisdictions, he did acknowledge that Serbian employees could connect to Dominion equipment housed in Denver. Guys, do we need to hear anything else at this point? They admit right here that Serbian employees had the ability to connect to the Dominion equipment in Dominion's Denver office to troubleshoot technical issues. This distinction between corporate systems and fielded election equipment has been central to Dominion's public defense. However, from a cybersecurity and certification perspective, upstream access to system architecture, source code, and test environments remains a critical vulnerability point. Basically, if they have access to certain code, if they have access to certain information about how the systems work, it could potentially make it easy for them to access the system as it sits, even if it's not in the Denver location. So again, there's so much more in this article we could get into. Guys, we're going to continue to talk about this because we've been following this very closely. We've noticed all the little different moves that have been made to go into what the president has been trying to say, what Rudy Giuliani has trying to say, and what the 12 other defendants have been fighting against, and that there was something wrong with this 2020 election and maybe other election as a result. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat, how this affects Fani Willis. Oh man, if this is the case, and this case was brought using bad information, it's just going to look even worse than it already does. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat. Guys, bring out the paper. It's time. It's time to bring back paper. Make paper great again. What would that be? MAPPA? Make American paper great again. This is wild. And again, I'm not an attorney. I just read this stuff and have a little bit of common sense. Guys, when I put 2 and 2 together and I said, wow, Tulsi Gabbard's there. That's weird. Why would the director of national security be there? The only reason could be that maybe there's something that happened outside of the United States. Now we're hearing Erik Harmon was involved with Dominion. They had foreigners who had access to not only the code for these machines, they had access to the machines themselves. right here in the United States. Where were they from? Serbia, Venezuela. Who's from Venezuela? Former President Maduro, who was in office and who was ruling during the time that this election took place. President Maduro. He's in custody right now. He's probably back there saying, just, man, y'all let me out. You took me out of my home. You took my wife. I'm in here with Diddy. Dang, I don't want to be in this place. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. It was Russia. It was Serbia. All right, let me go. Get me out of here. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Yeah, we're going to talk about, oh, don't worry. We're getting to Tiffany Henyard next. Y'all know we are on top of it here and we just don't miss. I made you guys a promise. If you missed it, I made you all a promise on this channel. With the news of Tiffany Henyard coming to Atlanta, circulating, starting her own business, my radar was on high alert, and I had a feeling that she was going to try and get close to or get reelected for office. And I promised you all I would not let that happen. Well, we're going to talk about it because it looks like that is exactly what's going on. Sorry, again, making sure we get all these sniffles out. Somebody said if I feel like I'm about to sneeze, put my finger to my tongue. Yeah, y'all are tripping. Y'all are tripping right now. Seriously, it works. I'm not going to do that on the live stream, but thank you for the tip. Let's get into Tiffany Henyard because, guys, I made you a promise on this channel. And I even said when we were talking about the video that my guy Nate the lawyer did on Tiffany Henyard that I would not let Tiffany Henyard anywhere near an election, anywhere near public office. And I promised you all that I would use my platform to make sure that this woman doesn't get anywhere near elected office based on what we've seen her do out there in Dalton. Well, we're going to talk about it. We saw the writing on the wall. We called it again. Tiffany Henyard is apparently, allegedly trying to run for elected office here in Fulton County. I won't stand for it. I know you guys aren't going to be for it because you know too much. You have too much information. And it's going to be an interesting road because apparently she's switching sides and now she's a Republican. This story with Tiffany Henyard gets crazy. If you guys don't know what went on, we're going to talk about it here and get to the history of Tiffany Henyard shortly. Tiffany Henyard is a disgraced mayor from Dalton, right? And while she was out there in Dalton, she basically got kicked out by her own people because she was stealing, well, allegedly stealing money. She was signing checks and cashing these checks when she needed a second signature on those checks before she could get the money. She didn't care. Her own people voted her out. And now, not only that, but she's actually saying that the elections are rigged. Everybody is, I guess this is the new popular thing now. We saw it with Jasmine Crockett. We're seeing it now with Tiffany Henyard. If you lose, just claim that the elections are rigged. Let's go ahead and see what is going on with Tiffany Henyard. Talk about the $10,000 that she now has to pay and what in the world she's doing here in Georgia. Here we go.
Well, WGN Investigates has learned Tiffany Henyard is not done with politics just yet.
Oh, she's
the
done.
Former South Suburban politician has moved to Georgia and appears to be running for office there. The local board of elections says Tiffany A. Henyard has qualified to run for a district commissioner's job in Fulton County. Henyard did not respond to a request for comment, though. The county includes Atlanta and surrounding suburbs. The longtime Democrat is running as a Republican, will not face any opponents in the primary. The district is heavily Democratic, and 4 candidates are vying for that nomination.
She's a scammer
This is somebody who hasn't
extraordinaire.
had much of a chance to establish roots, and she's going to be running against people who have far deeper roots in the community. And so that might actually end up being what is her undoing. It may not be because of her scandalous past, but it may be she hasn't lived long enough in this district.
And there are also questions about whether Henyard has lived in Georgia long enough to hold office. Also today, Henyard lost a $10,000 judgment in a rent dispute with her former landlord back in Dalton. You can read all about it at WGNTV.com/investigate.
Yeah, she wasn't paying her rent. So they got her up out of here. Let's listen to it because, again, this is the person who is running for elected office right here in Fulton County. Yes, she's on the ballot. She's running as a Republican because there's nobody else running. You know what? I'm going to see if I qualify. Fulton County, stand up. Let me know in the comments in the chat if I can qualify. I don't know if it's too late. I don't know how to qualify, but we'll get into it. I will run as a Republican against Tiffany Henyard. Do y'all want to see that? Because I can't. If that's what I got to do to make sure this lady doesn't get anywhere near elected office, I will do it. You know what? And if she's running for the the chairman of the Board of Commissioners or the Board of Commissioners in general, you know, I know who we're up against, and that's fine. I know we got Mo Ivory's in there. I know we got several other people. I will go ahead and run just to make sure that Tiffany Henyard doesn't get anywhere near it. So we'll do the research and I'll see what I have to do to get on the ballot. I got y'all's back. Just make sure you go out and vote. Okay. Tiffany Henyard ordered to pay $10,000 as she eyes the Georgia elected office. What is she doing? Ousted Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has apparently not lost her appetite for elected office despite a long list of grievances, bills, and legal judgments left in her wake. The Democrat has qualified as a Republican candidate for a seat on the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Commissioners. I would be gosh darned if that happens. No. It comes as the WGN Investigates has learned that Henyard's troubled time in Chicago's south suburbs now also includes a $10,000 judgment from a case filed by her former landlord. Janetta Hull accused Tiffany Henyard and her boyfriend of failing to pay rent for a home she lived in while serving as Dalton's mayor. I'm relieved and excited to have this chapter finally behind us, Hull told WGN. Hull's lawsuit accused Henyard and Kamal Woods of failing to pay rent and damaging the property. Shocker. Court records show the couple failed to appear for trial, resulting in a $10,000 default judgment. Henyard's attorney says his client denies wrongdoing and missed the trial because she was out of state. The attorney did not explain why Henyard chose to travel instead of attending the trial, whose date was set in December. Probably because she didn't want to. Is she going to pay? Who knows? Another run for office in Georgia. It comes as election records show Henyard has qualified as a Republican candidate for a district commissioner in Fulton County, Georgia, which includes Atlanta and the suburbs. Henyard has been promoting herself online as a clothing retailer in Atlanta. At this point, she hasn't made any noticeable impact locally, said Democratic candidate Sojourner Grimmett. Here in Fulton County, and especially in District 5, voters are deeply connected to candidates who are rooted in the community and consistently show up for residents. Henyard did not respond for a request to comment. While she was qualified for a spot on the ballot, she has yet to file any records related to her candidacy with the Georgia Ethics Commission. Long shot run as a Republican. Fulton County, like Chicago region, voters heavily vote Democratic, as I mentioned here on the channel several times, so it would be surprising if Henyard could win a district commissioner's post as a Republican candidate. I will do everything I can to make sure that this does not happen. We already have enough issues in Fulton County. With all due respect, Tiffany Henyard, we don't need your problems. I'm just being honest. Four better known Democrats are competing against each other in the primary and, assuming she stays on the ballot, would face Henyard in a general election in November. I'm going to make a commitment to you guys that I'm going to figure out what I got to do to get on this ballot. I don't know how that works. I'm going to be talking. Actually, this will be a good time to mention we're going to be talking to a candidate for the Secretary of State here in Georgia tomorrow, Kelvin King. And we'll have to talk to Kelvin King about what I need to do to run against Tiffany Henyard, because we can't be having this. Stephanie Andrus, the chairperson of the Fulton County Republican Party, did not respond to multiple requests for comment about Henyard's candidacy. Henyard has lots of problems. Tiffany Henyard has lots of problems we're going to talk about in a second. Emory University Associate Political Science Professor Andra Gillespie, sorry I pronounced your name, Miss Gillespie, says this is someone who hasn't had much of a chance to establish roots, and she's going to be running against people who have far deeper roots in the community. That might be her undoing. It might not be to her scandalous past. It might be she hasn't lived long enough in this district. Henyard might not be eligible to hold office in Georgia, mainly because she's running from the police, allegedly. Dalton voters dumped Henyard by an overwhelming margin. 88% voted against her in the Democratic Party on February 25th, 2025. It appears she didn't wait long to start packing. Election records show she registered to vote in Georgia 2 days later. She had it all planned out. Residency rules indicate candidates for a county office in Georgia must reside in the county in which they're seeking office for at least 1 year. That means Henyard may not be legally allowed to assume office if she wins. Okay, and we'll get into her history, because I want you guys to see some of the person. These aren't allegations. These are things that actually happened. This is the person that is trying to get into elected office here in Fulton County. Let's start with Tiffany Henyard being served with a lawsuit during a town hall meeting.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some books as super. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Pyro Nyson Jr. to you as both personal and in your role as mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you much. You sir.
Anytime, appreciate it. Maybe I could, babe, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it. What happened?
I get sued all the time. Oh, and there's this part in case you guys missed it. Oh.
Chaos erupting at a local board meeting outside of Chicago, with the self-proclaimed super mayor Tiffany Henyard at the center. People knocking over furniture and smashing monitors. A shocking scene to many who were inside.
It was scary. It was horrible. That's an embarrassment.
It should have never come to blows, and Tiffany should have never got involved.
In a statement, the Board of Trustees said they are, quote, deeply saddened and disturbed by the events that took place, and, quote, our hearts go out to the residents who continue to witness such turmoil.
This is Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor.
It's just the latest in a long saga of public scrutiny for Henyard, who is also the mayor of the Chicago suburb of Dalton and Thornton Township supervisor. She's been accused by other village officials of misusing public funds on everything from a lavish one-day community event to billboards of herself. Under her leadership, the Village of Dalton's general day-to-day operating fund was $3.6 million in debt. That's according to an independent investigation commissioned by the village. Henyard denying those claims for months, and even vetoing a measure to investigate her last year, which was eventually overwritten.
I will be victorious when all the dust clears. You see, mark my word.
But one day before the brawl, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was tapped to lead the investigation into possible mismanagement of Dalton's funds, released her final summary. Some key findings, including $170,000 in travel-related costs, which Lightfoot said produced no business opportunities, $51,000 spent at area restaurants, and more than $218,000 for Amazon purchases made with village credit cards.
I'm happy that the report is out so that the residents finally know some of the truth.
Regarding the brawl or Lightfoot's summary, Henyard did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. She has previously said the financial accusations are political retaliation and has threatened legal action.
Lord.
But tonight, as she makes headlines once again and goes viral for fighting, there are renewed concerns about her leadership.
Okay, Adrian Broadus joins us tonight live from Chicago. So, Adrian, I want to pick up right there where you left off. What's next for this mayor?
Well, Tom, in the township where that fight happened last night, a judge ruled Henyard will not be allowed on the ballot for re-election when it comes to the role of township supervisor. The only chance she has would be a write-in campaign. However, in Dalton, which is about 6 minutes away from the township, she is still seeking re-election as mayor, Tom.
All right.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to do what we have to do, guys. Listen, make sure you get out and vote, because you might see my name on the ballot. We can't let this happen. We can't. We got to see some changes here in Fulton County. We don't want to go backwards. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. I will do it, y'all. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? I will do it. Let me see what we have to do. I have to make sure I meet the basic qualifications. Let's see. To run for the Board of Commissioners, I have to be at least 25, check. Be a resident of Fulton County, check. if it's a district seat, you must live in that district. Oh, see, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't think I'm in the right district. Let me see. Let me see. I might not be in the same district. We might have to promote somebody else then. Dang it. I'm not in there. I'm not in District 5. All right, we got to find somebody in District 5 to get on this ballot. Hey, I appreciate. Shout out to Ducky, said I'll vote for you. Hey, y'all, please share this video. We can't. He said move. I don't have enough time. Who in their right mind would vote for her? People who are uneducated and don't know who she is. Yeah, I'm not in District 5. Morningside, Virginia Highland, Ponce Highland, Chandler Park, Lake Claire, Imam Park, Old Fourth Ward, Druid Hills. Yeah, that's Southeast Atlanta. Dang. We gotta find. Hey, listen, we'll keep an eye on it. Again, she's not gonna win. I just don't want her to be. I don't even want her to be in the primaries. Dang. All right. Well, we'll find our people out there. We got more Tiffany Henyard for y'all in a second. Y'all said you would definitely. Shout out to the people, man. Y'all are saying you would vote. We're in District 5. Yeah, I'm not in there. Hey, if you have family in Woodstock, listen, just keep them informed on what's going on. All right. I'll vote for you. I'm in Florida. Yeah, support Sojourner Grimmett, an awesome candidate. Shout out to Miss Grimmett. I would definitely vote for you. I'm from Ohio. Appreciate y'all. I have family in Woodstock. We can all vote. I would vote for y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not in District 5 though. Listen, if that's all the qualifications, let's see. I have to be in district. I have to be a registered voter in the county. Serve 4 years term. Okay. I guess I could run as a Republican just to counteract that. But yeah, I'm not in that district. So, hey, y'all do me a favor. Share out this video. We need somebody who we can call up in District 5 to run against Tiffany Henyard, because I can't have this. We can't do it. We're going to figure it out. We got more Tiffany Henyard for y'all. Because Tiffany Henyard is actually going to get into and talk about the plans that she has for Atlanta, from the super mayor to super commissioner. Oh, come on. Don't say that. Goodness gracious. Oh, man. That hurts my feelings. Don't say it. Let me rewind. I got to run this video back a little bit so we can hear from Tiffany Henyard. Please interview Long Island audit. He has so many videos about Henyard. Yeah, I'll have to reach out and see what they're about. I have not heard of that channel, but can't do it. If you run as a Republican, you'd face her in the primary. Yeah, that would be an easy win. That'd be an easy dub if I ran against Tiffany Henyard, but I'm not in District 5, so I can't. That's tough. I'm not going to tell y'all what district I'm in. I don't want somebody coming to find me. I guess y'all would know though if I went and ran. Anyway, let's get into this next part. So now that we know that Tiffany Henyard is allegedly trying to run for public office right here in Fulton County, we're going to hear from her during this exclusive interview that she did about what her plans are for Atlanta, what BS she's got going on while she's here, and why people should give her a chance, why she's switching parties. She's going to talk about all about it. So this comes from the Big Facts Network. And I will leave a link to the full video and the full interview in the description so y'all can go over there and support them. Here she goes talking about what she's going to do when she gets to Atlanta, starting her business and running for public office. Yikes.
When you step down, did somebody take over the country?
Sorry, I had it on super speed for y'all. Let me run it back a little bit and slow it down. Here we go.
back in Illinois?
Well, I didn't step down. I lost my seat over in Illinois, and basically it's a different person that stole the election. So all the stuff that, I will say this about Trump, that Trump states fake news, election rigging, stealing seats, it is happening. It's happening in Illinois. And I was right there to see it at the caucus in December of 2024, where a person came and stole the election. They didn't even let the people in to vote.
What?
Yeah.
I guess the I'm a black woman thing isn't working anymore. Hey, listen, I don't like to do the race thing, but I guess the I'm a black woman, I'm black, I'm a Democrat, y'all gotta vote for me isn't working anymore because Jasmine Crockett, Tiffany Henyard, and others I won't even name are now playing this election card. Is that the new thing? Is the I'm a black woman thing not working anymore? I thought that's what y'all were running on. I mean, even Kamala Harris tried it. It worked. So, hey, we got to talk about rigged elections now. Is that the new grift, I guess they're calling it? Oh, man, the election's rigged, guys. Come on.
Yes, it was voter suppression. That is worse. The news covered it. They saw it all. But guess what? No one did anything. People signed affidavits saying they wanted their vote to count. Did not count.
Hey, and listen, before y'all come for me in the comments, I'm not saying it. They're the ones that are saying it. Okay? Jasmine Crockett, Tiffany Henyard, they're all saying, oh, it's because I'm a black woman. Oh, if I were a white male, things would be better. So we got to combine that now with the elections rigged to give a chance. Come on, man.
Just stole the seat.
Those are very shocking revelations. So what can we do about that?
Well, the people got to stand up. They got to take a stance, and they can't go mute. They have to come together as a whole, not just 1, 2, 3, 100, 200. It has to be thousands of people to take a stance against corruption, against election rigging. That's why there's a lot of things that Trump said. He's right on point. Right. Because I've seen it and I lived it.
I want to go back a little bit about the stealing of the seats back home. So you're saying the person who's in office now back in your city where you came from, you don't think he got that position fair and square?
And I know he did not get that seat fair and square. Of course. I know that for a fact because my name was part of being chosen as the supervisor and several other people that want to put their name in the hat. A caucus. A caucus is where people go and they have one day where the residents come out and they can vote for who they want to place on the ballot. That's how they used to do it way back yonder. Right. And now they brought that same thing back. And they had people in the building that was not registered to vote, did not live in Thornton Township, and basically they was in there voting. And that's what I mean by what Trump's saying is true. That is happening in the Democrat Party.
Now what Trump's saying is true. Right, y'all see this? It's hilarious how we're just switching up to whatever benefits us. Yeah, man, this is crazy. Tiffany Henyard would not want to debate me. That would be a mess.
Oh, Lord. Is that what drove you to leave the city and come to Atlanta, or was that part of it?
Well, yes, that's part of it. Basically, I came here for opportunity and growth and basically have a better opportunity for our kid.
Right.
That's pretty.
Your daughter,
yes.
What's her name again?
Justice.
Y'all, her daughter is so beautiful. Yes, we're going to get into her a little later. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. That's shocking.
Yeah.
That's shocking. Do you feel like because you were a black woman, is that why, could that have been some of the reason why you were going through so much?
Hands down. They don't want women leading, especially in the most powerful position that I held.
Right. See, I didn't say it, y'all. They said it. Black woman, voters rigged. What else? What are we going to add next? I don't know. Maybe it's the clothes. It's because of listen to hip hop. Yeah, somebody's walking by, they heard me listening to Kendrick Lamar. And that's why. What are we going to add next? What excuses are we going to add next?
I was the most powerful person in the state of Illinois. People that runs for whether it's a judge, whether it's a governor, whether it's mayors or trustees, which y'all call councilmen here, whenever you run, you come to see a person like myself, the supervisor. The supervisor holds the weight of all the votes in the Southland. That was my power. And that's what they tried to, that's what they did when they removed me from office by not allowing me to be on the ballot. I had to run as a write-in, literally, run as a write-in. People, they're not going to really write you in, especially so many thousands of people to write your name in. Don't get me wrong, I got some, but it's still an educational campaign that you have to do to win a write-in election.
That's crazy.
But now, they miss me. They crying.
They crying
want
now.
Me to come back.
Would you go back?
No, I'm done with that. Been there, done that.
See, Tammy said it. I wasn't going to say it, Tammy, because I knew they were going to come for me then. Tammy said, because my hair is the next excuse. That's what I thought, but I had to go with close because they were going to cook me in the comments. Lord.
And I am done, girl. I'm moving on to something bigger.
She's moving on to
if
something
I would
bigger.
not
Atlanta.
have went through that, I wouldn't be able to tell my story. Like, everything's a test, but this is my testimony. So now I want to share with the world. I want to educate others to learn and see what people are doing and know how to combat it before it happens to them.
Well said. I want to change gears a little bit.
Yeah, let's change gears because now Tiffany's going to talk about how she's setting an example for people. She's leading the way for other people to be able to follow in her footsteps. Oh, it gets good now. Y'all gotta hear this part.
Black man,
Indian man,
any type of man. If I was just a man, I would be straight right now. I would not be getting attacked. I would still be in office because it's the boys' club. Unfortunately, us women, it's hard to get a seat at the table when I built the table. So it's difficult because no one wants to hear us talk like that. When we really are the structure, we the backbone of the communities. We the big mamas. We the ones that the kids run to. Like, come on, man. Who don't want a woman that got strength and can lead and will lead and not afraid? Like, come on.
As the youngest, you were, and for those who are new to who Tiffany is, you were the youngest Black female in office in Dalton.
In Dalton, in the state of Illinois.
In the state of Illinois.
For a supervisor, too. There would never been a woman, never been nobody young nor Black, meaning me.
There was never anyone Black?
No, ma'am. For supervisor.
What?
Yes. So I made history 3 different times.
So how do you feel knowing that?
She made
how
history,
do you feel
all right.
knowing that regardless of whatever happens, that you opened the door for others to follow in your footsteps?
Ladies, can I say something? Can you just hear me out for 2 seconds? I know I bashed Tiffany Henyard, Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, Hillary Clinton, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, all of them. Can you just hear me for a second? I'm begging you. I'm asking you. Please do not follow in Tiffany Henyard's footsteps. You could do so much better. We had the wonderful, the lovely, the honorable Janelle King on this channel. There are so many other examples you could use other than Tiffany Henyard to follow. So take this for what you will. Please, for God's sake, do not follow Tiffany Henyard's example at all.
And that regardless of whatever happens, that you opened the door for others to follow in your footsteps.
I love you. I just say this, do it your way. I don't care about what nobody got to say. Do it your way. That way you can sleep at night, you comfortable with it. You got a little flavor, do it. And what I mean by flavor, they gonna trip about how you dress, how you look, if your hair done, if you got makeup on. And it's sad because why wouldn't you want us to look that way? Because if we came in and we was ghetto, you're like, she ghetto, she gotta make all that money, she can't do this and do that. But when we look the part, then you gotta say we're doing something other than what we're doing, which is we just look nice. And we had this before we was in office. So what's the difference? That's my point about do research on people. You feel that the office made you. I made $50,000 as a mayor. What is that? That's what I try to tell people. I did it because I love my community. And I still do. I love Dalton. Because them people need a lot of help and they misguided. They've been bamboozled, led astray, hoodwinked, all of the above.
Lord, no, she didn't.
Yes.
By you? That's why they're suing you, lady.
You went there.
Yes, I did. Come on, man.
Hoodwinked, bamboozled. Hallelujah, amen, Miss Tiffany.
Yes.
Poor Dalton.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to them. Yeah. I think we should go back and take more food boxes.
Yeah, we should.
For Thanksgiving, can we go and take food or something?
I'm gonna give y'all some love out here this go around.
Okay, you gotta give us okay.
Yeah, I gotta give the ATL some love.
Yeah, she can't go out there because they're looking for her.
Show people what I'm about, right? What I represent. Been there, done that. My parents, everybody, I love them all to death. They get anything out of me. It's just a matter of now it's time to move on. My next chapter.
I love that. Yeah. Before we move on,
hey guys, no, we're moving on. Here's the example that she wants you to follow. Check this out.
The other big story tonight may be the most chaotic meeting yet in troubled South suburban Dalton.
Nate Rogers sorting out another confrontation involving the mayor, the board, and the public. Nate.
This is the example she wants y'all to follow.
Yeah, guys, this Board of Trustees meeting ended early tonight with 4 trustees actually walking out abruptly. The village clerk left early as well. First, I want to paint a picture of what all we were able to experience. It was very chaotic, and to be quite honest with you, frankly honest with you, it was even scary at times for those of us that were inside of the meeting. There were folks banging on the windows and doors of the Village Hall. About 100 residents showed up at the meeting tonight, but only 42 residents were allowed inside. They had to walk through metal detectors and they were wanded down. Before I take you inside of the meeting, I want you to listen to what happened outside first.
Let us in! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like!
But at least the majority of the people in Dalton should be able to think like the mayor does. She's scary. She's absolutely scary.
Why can't we get in our public building to have meetings? Why are meetings being canceled? Why can't we have transparency what's going on with our tax dollars?
Several residents calling on Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard to resign. She's been criticized for mismanaging village funds and dividing the Board of Trustees. The meeting comes amid a sexual harassment and retaliation complaint against Henyard. A former employee says she was sexually assaulted during a work trip in Las Vegas last year.
Guys, we could do this all day. We can make videos on the super mayor all day, which I don't know. We need to do a rewind since Tiffany Henyard's running for office up until November. And I mean, can we commit? How many weeks are between now and November? Can we commit to a video every week on Tiffany Henyard leading up to November, just so District 5, we don't have any questions. There's no issues about whether this woman should be in public office or not. I think we can commit to that.
Complaint says the employee was disoriented and unsure how she woke up inside a village trustee's hotel room. When she woke up about the former employee's claims, when she spoke up, about the claims she was retaliated against, she says, and later fired. The FBI is now looking into village practices.
You know what happened in Vegas. You know what happened. And you should be addressing it, saying something to the residents about it.
I have cancer. Of course I do. Tiffany stole money from a cancer foundation. How dare you? How dare you steal? And I helped you with your campaign. How dare you steal from us? I had to buy my wigs. Are you going to reimburse me for the wigs that I've been spending my money on?
And they say that you're the worst mayor in America. I agree.
It's not just me, guys. That was her own people.
Now, no one is in custody and no charges have been filed following that former employee's complaint. Also, the trustee accused was absent from tonight's meeting. Residents said that trustee should resign as well. Residents also wore blue ribbons in support of victims of sexual abuse. Now, back out here live, just a little bit more on background. We've learned that this was the first time that metal detectors were used. The acting police chief saying that they received credible threats even today about this meeting, and that's why folks were taken through metal detectors and wanded down. Again, 4 out of their 6 trustees did leave the meeting early. Mayor Tiffany Henyard did criticize those Board of Trustees for leaving, saying that she really wanted to accomplish some of the business of the village, and as a result, she was unable to do so. Of course, we'll continue to stay on this story and keep you updated with any new developments on air and online. In Dalton, I'm Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Shout out to Nate. Listen, guys, this isn't happening in Georgia. Not District 5, not District 2, not District 3, not District 10. It's not going to happen. I need y'all's help. Please make sure you share out these videos, make them go viral, and we're going to stay on this until November, because God forbid she gets elected in a small spot somewhere in District 5. What's going to happen from there? Can't do it. Is Jasmine Crockett next? Is Jasmine Crockett going to switch sides? She's going to continue to claim, because she already has election fraud now that she lost and people didn't want her anymore and they got tired of the BS. We have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all think. Wow. Thank you to the gang that's in here. Y'all are amazing. Most of you like the video. Guys, I beg for likes because it's free. Likes are free. Like the video if you could, please. I'm sorry about the facial expressions. My goodness. I don't know. The delusion is crazy. And again, I see a lot of y'all in the chat are talking about this side, the other side. Listen, this is about objectivity. Okay. I tried to give Stacey Abrams, as I mentioned in the chat, and out. She did an interview. I said, Stacey, you saw the BS that went down in 2020. Come on, don't do this. Don't do this, Stacey. You know what happened. You saw it. You were affected by this. What'd she say? Oh, yeah. Well, this is just a bunch of conspiracy theories. Things have been proven not to be true. Week after week, day after day, we see more and more and more information come out that shows that what happened in 2020, it wasn't right. There was a lot that's wrong. There's a reason the president made that phone call. There's a reason there's so much pushback. There's a reason Fani Willis allegedly had to work with the White House to get this done. There's a reason Joe Biden gave medals to the two women who were allegedly involved in some of the fraud. Allegedly. Stop the madness, man. I can't do it anymore. Man. It's crazy to me that people, after all of this, y'all are still loyal to one party or the other. I mean, at this point, you just say all Democrat, all Republican all the time. Come on, man. It's 2026. Like, these people don't even know what they're doing in a lot of cases. But thankfully, we do have some who do know what they're doing and who are having the best in mind for whatever place they're representing, whether that's a county, whether that's a state, whether that's a city. And one of those people we're actually going to have on the show tomorrow morning. So make sure y'all stay locked in, because we are going to have a candidate who is running for Secretary of State right here in Georgia, Kelvin King, on the show tomorrow morning. We got to hear from his wife last week. Janelle King was on the show, did an amazing interview talking about some of the election issues that are going on here in Fulton County and her work on the state elections board. Now we're going to get to hear from Kelvin and have him on the show tomorrow. So make sure y'all stay locked in for that. I'll leave a link, and I'll actually give you guys an opportunity over on the community side to ask questions and have your questions prepared for Kelvin. If you want to know what platform or what he's running on, what he's planning on doing when he gets to office, we're going to be asking all these questions when he comes up. Some of the things that he's seen from the current Secretary of State, which we talked about at length here on the channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned in, stay locked in, and the link for that live stream, will be up shortly after this live stream ends. All right. I had a few other topics I wanted to get to, but I might let y'all have a break today. Let me see. We can do one more topic, just one more fun topic, and then we'll get into it. I want to read some of y'all's comments though, and we do have a couple of super chats in here. First, shout out to D for dropping the £2 in here. Thank you, D, for the love. Didn't even say anything. Just dropped the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Always showing up and showing out. I appreciate you, D, and thank you for the love and for keeping the lights on here in the show. We've also got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E in here with the super sticker, reminding me she's got the cakiest cake that ever cake, and that it's almost lunchtime. I know I promised I was going to eat lunch today, so I will make it happen. We're going to have lunch. All right. Thank you, Amy, for the love and all the ways that you support the channel as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're going to get into Jesse. Y'all want to talk about Jesse Jackson's funeral? Jasmine only mistake was not having a campaign manager. I think that's fair. Even then she still got over 1 million votes, something MAGA couldn't achieve. They won. I mean, does it really matter at this point? I mean, that's a major mistake if your career was potentially hanging on that. So I don't know. Yeah, we're going to have Kelvin on tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Is Fani disbarred yet? No, not yet. I don't know. Seems like the only one who can get disbarred out of all this is Rudy Giuliani, apparently. I still don't understand that one. I used to love Candace, but something changed in her a year ago. Boy, I'm not even going to get into that one. No such thing as neutrality anymore. Delusion and Democrats seem to go hand in hand, sadly. Listen, even some Republicans too. Let's keep it fair. I hear some of the things some Republicans be out here saying, and it's just, oh man. It has me worried. Always a good sign when a mayor has a lawyer sitting next to them during town meetings, leans over whispering. Yeah, okay, next question. Cooking with Frank's channel is a great source for Tiffany news. I will have to check it out. Thank you. That 68% my you know what, those voting machines, I think will prove otherwise. You're talking about Fani Willis getting 68%. I think that's what she ran by or won by. But even then, 68% against Courtney Kramer, who a lot of people were saying was unqualified. A lot of people were saying, and even I believed that she wasn't going to win, but I voted for her because we needed to see a change. Clearly. 68%. And that's getting awfully close to 50. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's real quick get into what's going on with the drama. Speaking of the Democrats, hey, y'all got to get your party together, man. Listen, y'all have got to get it together. I don't know what Democrats' plan is for the next 8 years, but oh man, y'all are just handing over these elections to the other side, I feel like. And we're going to talk about it here in a second. Let's get Jesse Jackson Jr. up here as he absolutely roasts two former presidents over his father's funeral and over them pulling Erica Kirk at his daddy's funeral. He said he was not having it. Erica was up there with the fireworks and counting the checks. Jesse Jackson Jr. said, not in my house. Let me see if I can find this picture of him so we can get into this segment, because this is crazy. Now, a lot of you know, we sadly had the passing of someone who has been a political and a civil activist for decades. And Jesse Jackson did pass over the last couple of weeks. They recently had his funeral over the last couple of days. And man, when I tell you some things went south during this funeral, it went really south because his son was very upset at the way the platform at his father's funeral was used by two former presidents, President Obama, President Joe Biden. We're going to get into it here and hear what he had to say. He said, we ain't doing that Charlie Kirk in my house. No, sir. I'm calling y'all out for using my father's funeral to make a political stance. First, let's hear of what some of what President Barack Obama and President Joe Biden had to say. Check this out from Obama.
We are living in a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible.
Talking about Trump.
Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated, and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated, while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards every single day. We see that. And it's hard to hope. It may be tempting for some to compromise with power and grab what you can, or even for good people to maybe just put your head down and wait for the storm to pass.
Shame.
But this man, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, inspires us to take a harder path. And because if we don't step up, no one else will. how fortunate we were
Oh, he crying. Oh, Obama.
that Jesse Jackson answered that call.
All right, so not too much, not too political, but we knew what he was saying. We knew who he was talking about, right? Joe Biden, he came onto the podium. One of my favorite quotes from him, as you probably know, is that's what I was going to say. Powerful stuff. Listen here.
Thank you. I think that clock is broken. I'll try to keep this under 2 minutes. The Jackson family, I know we're celebrating a life. It's a life lost. Having lost a wife and a daughter and a son, it's called out of the blue. It's not easy. No matter how much you loved them, no matter how close you were. So I just like to express my deep sense of, how can I say it, sympathy and understanding. But the big thing is he left you something that no one else could. He left you character, judgment, honesty. You can't kid yourselves about what's right and wrong. President Obama, President Mrs. Clinton, Vice President Harris. Jesse believed, the Bible tells us, that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not grow faint. I hope the hell you all got that, because you're going to need help getting out of here. You know, I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania initially, where the fact that I was an Irish Catholic wasn't a very positive thing to be. And then moved down to Wilmington, Delaware, which is segregated by law. And remained that way for much of my life. And, you know, it's interesting that Jesse Jackson, before we knew Jesse Jackson, I was raised with the notion that that hope is all you really have. You can't give up hope. My dad used to say, when you get knocked down, Joey, just get up. Just get up. Well, as a kid, I was a relatively good athlete, a pretty good student, but I stuttered to talk like that. Now, if I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really?
What are we talking about,
I'm a hell of a lot
Joe?
smarter than most of you. But all kidding aside, it makes you feel really small. Makes you feel really small. And you know, when I moved from Wilmington to Claymont, Delaware, a working-class town, I was surprised.
All right, y'all said it. That's enough. Jesse Jackson Jr. is feeling the same way we're feeling. It said, that's enough. I can't. Shame on y'all.
Yesterday.
This is after the funeral.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people, And it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was. Our message has already been delivered today. I can see it all over my mother's face. Rise, Jesse, rise. Give Jonathan Jackson another great round of applause for delivering our family message to the world. Let's hear it for the congressman. There'll be no different message that leaves this service than the one that Jonathan Jackson has blessed us with.
Again, he was not standing for it, wouldn't have it, and I do not blame him at all. Said the same thing with Charlie Kirk when I heard the president up there say, hey, listen, you know, Charlie Kirk, he was saying, you know, you shouldn't hate people. And yeah, I appreciate that, but I hate him. I hate my opponents. That disrespectful, just disrespectful. I think the same thing about this. Disrespectful by Obama and Biden to use this opportunity not to honor the man that Jesse Jackson was, but to make their own political points. Disappointing, and I understand Jesse Jackson Jr. taking this stance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat. Shout out to the gang. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank y'all for liking the video. Shout out to D and my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E for the super chats. I see y'all in there. Hey, listen, man. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So y'all just make sure you stay informed. A lot of people on the internet talking, saying things that aren't true. So just do your own research. I'm here to try and do my best to give you guys the most accurate, up-to-date information. We're going to continue to do that. I'm excited. Our interview tomorrow with Kelvin King. Make sure y'all tune in for that. It will be tomorrow morning, a little bit earlier than usual. So look out for the notification. Y'all hit the notification bell, subscribe so you don't miss when we do that great interview. Have your questions ready. And I'll be making a post later on the channel so you guys can drop your questions there. And I'll be asking Kelvin some of them while we're on the show tomorrow. Hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all.